Hello and welcome to Sunrise Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow hobbyist Aaron Goldstein, better known throughout the hobby as Crease Collector. So this episode will be a little bit more of a casual episode, at least in comparison to some of the stuff we've had recently. Aaron will again start things off for the episode, but somewhat shockingly, this time it is not for a Jonas Enroth jersey. And in fact, it's not even hockey related, but it's still very important nonetheless for the hobby. So, Aaron, take it away with our opening topic.
I love that intro, by the way. I really, really enjoy it. Thanks for the shout out there for the past couple episodes. Yeah, so we're just gonna start things off with this episode with a just an overall hobby kind of news segment here. Not hockey card related, unfortunately, but no doubt hockey cards will be making their way back into the headlines at some point because we have another record to tell you about. A 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle rookie card has now officially became the highest sport card or sport memorabilia item ever. One recently sold on August 28th for a whopping 12.6 million US, and it just totally crushed the previous record for a sports card for 7.25 million, and that was for a T206 Honest Wagner card sold by Golden. So this Mantle card just unbelievably, like I said, crushes that record. I assume eventually this will be broken as well, maybe even by a Wagner itself. I think these cards might flip-flop as the most highest cards in the market right now, which is crazy to me, how these cards will eventually just get even higher and higher as we go along. What was special about this Mantle was that it was the only card graded a 9.5, and that was by SGC, which is, I believe, I'm not super integrated as much as other people, but I believe with SGC, it is a pretty, king of vintage, like I would say, like, for graded cards and like when talking about vintage, like I think PSA also has, a hold on that market too. But, for a lot of cards I've seen over the years, with baseball and hockey, SGC seems to me, that go-to brand, for grading cards like these. So either way, whether it's a 9.5 PSA or SGC, still very impressive. This card was sold by Heritage Auctions and just unreal. Like when we heard about it, we both kind of pointed it out like, yeah, we got to talk about this on the podcast because it's just wild, seeing cards sell for that much. And it's just really, really cool and definitely way, way out of my budget.
Yeah, just a little bit. Me too. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to see, these numbers continue to show up, somewhat regularly at this point, honestly. I mean, like we said, this is a record, but I was thinking even just before we started recording that I feel like before the pandemic, the record for the most expensive card was probably what, like 3 or 4 million or something.
Yeah, something like that. I want to say, yeah, maybe three and a half. Could be a little more, but I think, around that three areas is about right. I think it was for a Wagner card as well. So
So, yeah, so I mean, you look at just the last, 2.5 years, how many times that number has already been broken just in that relatively short amount of time, and it's not like these records are just barely beating it, 4 or 5 million, like that Wagner earlier this summer, like you said, that went for seven, a little over seven. This Mantle didn't just beat that. I mean, it destroyed that, by over $5 million. Not that that's quite doubling, but I mean it's close to doubling
pretty
that
much.
prior records. I mean it's just pretty remarkable when you sit back and really think about it. I like the point you made about the SGC grade. A lot of people in the hobby nowadays just kind of associate PSA and Beckett as kind of being like the big graders, but for vintage cars, SGC definitely is a big time player in that market for sure. Like my Vesna rookie card is graded by SGC. So, like you said, it's definitely a company that is well respected in the grading circle, especially for vintage cards. So I like that you made that point there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much we really want to, break it down since it is baseball compared to hockey, but I mean, like we said, it's just almost unfathomable, that someone would drop that much money on a piece of cardboard. But, one thing we were talking about beforehand, and Aaron, I'll let you kind of unpack this idea more, is that cards like this are kind of almost in their own different category from the rest of trading cards. It's almost like these aren't trading cards anymore.
Yeah, like we were discussing this a little bit before we just went live here. It just, I mean, like these types of cards, I mean, although they're cards and there's many copies of them in varying condition, these cards graded this way, at this level of pristineness, I guess, they kind of like enter into a new stratosphere of collectible. For me, they're kind of like very high-end art pieces at this point, very exclusive buying pool, very, high values. The people bidding on those cards, although they are usually anonymous and for good reason, I bet it would surprise a lot of people that they may not even be sports fans. It's just sort of, a high-end piece to, you know, flip or, sort of hang on to within their little wealthy community. And then eventually sort of be the guy that has this high-end piece, be known for that. And then a couple of years later, kind of flip it again, for, a nice little investment thing. So yeah, like I don't know who bought the card, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is the only trading card in their collection, and just likes to collect very high-end things, no matter the kind of market that it is in. So yeah, like cards like these, it's different than art because arts are usually, like one of a kind, but pieces like these that are graded, to that level, and maybe there's only one or two of them or something like this, whether it's a Wagner or even a Gretzky or something like that, like those, very particular auctions, I think, especially the older these things get, it just they rise above, the rest of their counterparts and just become almost like art pieces, I think. Just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that for sure. Like you said, they really become portfolio pieces for, these multi-million dollar individuals and entrepreneurs and stuff like that. Like you said, some of these people, sure, they might have a card collection, but a lot of them that have these just huge ticket items, it is kind of just another type of thing to add to their portfolio, kind of give them another type of an asset, a different type of investment as well. And kind of interesting too, in terms of the investment side of it for this specific card, is this card was originally purchased. Well, the guy that sold the card this time, he originally purchased the card raw back in 1991 for $50,000, which, of course, compared to 12.6 million, that is quite the ROI for sure. But even you just think about back in the context of 91, I mean, I wasn't alive. So, I can't speak to what the
Me
hobby was
neither.
like at that point. Yeah,
But 50 grand
neither.
for a card is significant
Massive
back in
money,
91.
massive money. I mean, that's massive money today still. But yeah, I mean, back then that was probably an unfathomable amount of money for a trading card back then, I'm sure. So it's kind of cool in that regard to think that that was probably a huge news item back in at the time when it sold for 50 grand. And now fast forward 2022 and it sets the all-time sports collectible record at 12.6 million. So just a kind of cool and fun little angle on it in that regard as well.
Yeah, definitely a cool little origin story there. And another thing that I just wanted to mention, connecting it to my last point about you never really know who's buying these cards. There was a rumor back in, I want to say 2002, 2001, 2002, the titanium rookies that were numbered to the player's jersey number, the first time that that had been attempted. And the Ty Conklin, obviously being his, a one of one due to his number one jersey number, was heavily debated as, is this a rookie card or not? And it was kind of like, again, I wasn't so connected, to the hobby back then, but I could only imagine the, for some people, maybe, a little bit of an outrage of, why the hobby would go this way for the numbering. Now it's not so big of a deal, and we've seen it many times since then. But back then it was definitely, a hot topic for sure in the hobby. But anyway, so I guess a person, find out that this is a very high end item at the time. And, keep in mind it is hockey cards. So not 50 grand or anything like that, but definitely a few thousand, give or take. But apparently it was bought by like an investor from Tokyo who I believe was from New York at the time. And that's who I think ended up with the Ty Conklin card, one of one. I don't think he still owns it, or maybe he does, or maybe that was a rumor or something like that. But I remember hearing about it a couple of years ago and thinking like, wow, you never really know who has these cards. And I believe at that point it was his only, card, that he'd ever owned. It was just one of those things where, again, it adds to your investment portfolio. You find out that this is something that can be turned into an investment. And I guess they wanted to take a chance on that. If anyone could confirm or deny that, that'd be great. But that's just, kind of what I heard. And yeah, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, you never really know who's buying these high-end items. I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely cool to, always think about some of those unique stories and stuff like that. And obviously, when it comes to big ticket items like the mantle, always really cool to hear whatever stories are attached to those cards. So, but yeah, just wanted to talk about that a little bit just because obviously, in terms of the hobby as a whole, huge news. So, even though obviously not hockey card related, felt that it was worth spending a little bit of time to talk about nonetheless. So, now, shifting into hockey cards themselves, since this is a hockey card podcast, one thing that I just wanted to make note of, more for fun than anything else, but September 21st is the 1 year anniversary of me owning my Vesna Buckle card. So
Amazing.
just thought that would be kind of a fun little thing to
You got to
highlight.
post that up on like Instagram again this week,
Absolutely.
just for the people to see, the listeners. I'm sure they'll love
Yes.
it.
Yes. So just wanted to make note of that. Don't have to go down that rabbit hole story. You guys can go back and listen. I think it was episode 42 that was on. So if you want to hear the backstory about that, go ahead and do that. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that in some ways, and feels like it hasn't been that long. So just kind of fun to sit back and realize, yeah, it's been a year. So just want to make note of that. And then I'll also touch on a few things that I've gotten in the mail recently. First one being something that these cards have definitely been, kind of on the forefront of the hobby. Maybe not the biggest, most popular thing of late, but definitely something that a lot of people have really gained interest in over the last few years and within the hockey card market, probably within the last year or so since Skybox Metal Universe came out last fall. These cards have kind of had a bit of a resurgence as far as popularity and value. And I had never had one before, but I actually just recently got one, bought it off of Facebook for a pretty good deal. I want to say it was like 25 bucks or something, which granted, this is not the best player, so the value was going to be limited anyway. But I just thought, you know what, for that price, I'm just going to go ahead and buy it because, I know these are really cool cards, really popular cards. And the player doesn't have a whole lot of high end stuff. So I thought it was kind of just like a cool card of the player to have as well. So what it is, it's from 1415 Fleer Ultra, and it is a jambalaya of Patrick Sharp for the Blackhawks.
And that is a sharp looking card. Kind of walked right into that one, but that is amazing. Really nice. When you told me
True.
you picked that up and you sent me the photo, I was like, man, those are nice. So, what struck you the most when actually receiving it in person versus just seeing it in scans and stuff like that over the years?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for those who have not either owned or seen a jambalaya in person, one thing that's kind of unique is they almost have this like 3D effect almost. I don't know exactly what the surface material actually is, but it just kind of has like a really cool 3D type of effect with it. So it just kind of has that like shimmering and that motion type of effect. And I didn't realize that jambalayas were like that. So yeah, that just immediately stuck out to me as soon as I took it out of the package. And depending on the angle or the picture or the scan, you might not be able to pick that up. But when you're holding them in hand, or I guess if you see them on video, they definitely pop a lot more. So yeah, even just getting the card in hand definitely made me appreciate them a lot more and understand why people like them so much. And then the next category of late, probably over the last I don't know, 3, 4 months, I've had quite a few Nicholas Hjalmarsson Premier Mega Patches that have arrived in my collection, in large part thanks to the release of 2020-21 Upper Deck Premier and him having a bunch of Mega Patches in that product. But also, of course, going back to 18-19 Premier as well, he had some Mega Patches in that as well. So over the last few months, I've had some pretty good luck with finding some of his Mega Patches. And I'm not going to get into the 2020-21 chest logo pieces just because I do still have, I think, at least one that's incoming. So I'm going to wait to update you guys on that progress until I have all of them in hand, just because that makes more sense than continually doing updates. But I've actually managed to track down a couple of the 18-19 chest pieces over the last few months, which is really exciting because I think it had been probably close to, if not at least a year, that it had been since I had acquired one. So picking up two in the span of a few months was really exciting. And I had been at 18 of the 24 copies. And with these two, I'm now at 20 of the 24, which, if you had told me back at release that I would eventually go on to have 20 of the 24, I probably wouldn't have believed you. So just super, super exciting to still be tracking down some of those cards, a few years later. And yeah, obviously great to see it getting near completion. I doubt that it'll ever happen, but it's only four away at this point, so who knows? And then moving forward to 2020-21, I said I wouldn't touch on the chest logo at all, but I will update on the shoulder patch as I have recently acquired two more of those. And yeah, with those two additions, I'm now only one card away from completing that shoulder logo. So that certainly feels a lot more doable, especially since it's a fairly new product. I haven't seen the last card, number 1 out of 6, that I don't have and have never seen it. So maybe someone has it. Maybe it's still sitting in a box or a case. Who knows? But at least having 5 of the 6, I definitely have some hope that I will eventually track down that card and complete the logo. So yeah, obviously very exciting to get those. And the 6 of 6 is the one that most recently came in. Actually came from a guy over in the Czech Republic, and a Facebook buddy of mine spotted the card in a group that he was a part of. I think it was I don't know if it was a Czech group or what it was, but it was a group that I was not a part of. He spotted the card and said, "Hey, are you still looking for those?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And he pointed me in the direction of the guy, and we were able to pretty quickly work out a deal. And I was grateful that he was willing to work with me on it because he had never shipped anything over to the US before. So that made me a little nervous, just like, is he going to want to follow through with it? Or is he going to say, oh, it's just too much of a hassle, I'll just sell it to somebody else? But he was really great to work with, and we got the deal done, and the card arrived the other day. So definitely really great to pick up those cards. They're beautiful cards, especially the 2020-21 cards, like we've mentioned before. But yeah, just really exciting to make more progress toward those mega patches.
That is awesome. Like just all those pickups, it's just really, really cool. Like I love, and I'm a sucker for those mega patches. Like just whether you're going for the whole chest logo or even just a shoulder logo, just amazing progress. Like every time you find a new one, it's always like, man, like this is awesome. Like one more piece of the puzzle is complete. So that's so cool. Hopefully you complete at least the shoulder logo. I mean, that seems, very doable, like you said. And then the chest logo, it's one of those ones where it's like, even if you don't complete it, it's so cool to see, like, oh, if I can get 80 or 90% there, like whatever the number is, then that's just not good enough. I mean, you want to complete it, but it's one of those things where it's like, I can't believe I got this far. That's really cool. And then you just sort of keep an eye out, for the other ones. And each new edition, no matter how small, it makes it that much more cooler.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I had a goal necessarily when the 18-19 ones came out because I didn't really know what to expect. But when the 2020-21 ones came out, that one I kind of said, okay, if I can get half of the chest pieces, like I'll be pretty happy with that because you just never know. I mean, sometimes someone gets one in group break and they collect the team and they want to keep it, or someone has, they pulled it in a box themselves, thought it was cool, want to keep it. You never know. So even just getting to the halfway point is definitely an accomplishment. And even with the 18-19 chess logo, getting to the 3/4 point at 18 out of 24 was a big accomplishment. So yeah, like you said, just anything past that, continuing to chip away is kind of just a cherry on top. So yeah, definitely always fun coming across those and seeing, what that progress kind of entails as time goes on. And then the final category for the mail day, this is actually a two-part mail day. So in the last episode, obviously we spent a lot of time talking about 21-22 Upper Deck Extended Series. And one player that is featured in that product in the Young Guns checklist is Josiah Slavin, younger brother of Jacob Slavin. And of course, having a young gun, he then also has all of the parallels that go along with that. So I was able to acquire his Young Gun High Gloss recently, which was obviously very exciting for me.
Nice. That's
Definitely
awesome.
glad that I was able to get that. They're beautiful cards. They always are. People would probably say that the Young Gun High Gloss is one of, if not the kind of go-to rookie year parallel for any player. So being able to cross that one off the list pretty much right out of the gate was definitely very exciting and very happy to have that one.
The vertical design I really enjoy. I told this to Billy after he talked about the design, and like I'm a big fan. I know some people don't like it, but I'm a really big fan of the vertical design. Just yeah, like I think it looks fine, and yeah, those are really nice cards.
Yeah, definitely different because they usually do the banner across the bottom, but I don't mind them this year either. I think it's kind of a nice change, and I know they're going back to the quote unquote traditional orientation with the banner across the bottom for 22-23. So, but yeah, it definitely changes it up a little bit for sure. And speaking of Josiah Slavin high gloss cards, as you guys can tell from the title of the episode, we'll be talking about 21-22 Upper Deck AHL in a little bit, but Josiah Slavin is also in that product as part of the Star Rookies subset in the base set. And of course, with that has the parallels. And literally just today, right before we started recording, I got my mail. And in the mail was a Josiah Slavin Star Rookies High Gloss, number out of 10. So obviously a pretty fitting card
Not
to
bad,
get.
not bad at all. That's so great, especially with the box break that we got, and I know you weren't really expecting the AHL box from Upper Deck, so it's a pretty cool turn of events here.
Yeah, so hopefully I don't pull one because otherwise that would have rendered buying this as, not necessary, but who could complain about a second one, I guess, on the flip side. But yeah, obviously just kind of funny that the timing of that worked out, that it ended up arriving in the mail literally right before we break into this box. So just figured I would make note of that. And yeah, with that, we'll turn it over to 21-22 AHL. For those who aren't familiar with the product, it's a very, very simple product. There's only one product for AHL cards each year. This is it. And if you guys are familiar with Upper Deck's CHL product, this is a very similar type of concept. You've got your base set, you've got your star rookies, and then you've got a few inserts, and then you have some parallels, you have some autographs, and that's pretty much it. It might sound a little bit more involved how I just described it, but it really is pretty simple. Like I said, you've got your base set, you've got autographs of the base set. You've got a few insert sets, three insert sets. You've got autographs of those three insert sets, and then everything has parallels. And that's it. Whereas most products, there's all kinds of inserts. There's memorabilia cards, there's autographs, there's autograph parallels of the memorabilia cards, and all kinds of parallels and Easter eggs and all kinds of stuff. Whereas AHL is just very straightforward. This is what it is. Pretty easy to understand the concept, understand, the build of it and everything. And it's more just kind of focused on providing some content of those younger prospects that maybe either have or haven't made their NHL debut, but just to get them some cards. And some players are pretty desirable in the product. I know probably two of the biggest ones are for the Iowa Wild. Marco Rossi and Matt Boldy both have cards in here. Alex Turcotte has stuff in here. Obviously, at this point, Turcotte has some NHL cards as well. But some of those guys like Rossi and Boldy, especially, are going to be bigger names to keep an eye on for 22-23 NHL products. So those are guys to kind of keep an eye on. And then for myself personally, obviously we already talked about Josiah Slavin being in the product. But two others that I'm going to be looking for are Brogan Rafferty for the San Diego Gulls and Colin Delia of the Rockford Ice Hogs. I have a little collection of both of those guys. So if I can get any cards of those guys, I'll be pretty happy, even if it is just their base cards. And for Josiah Slavin, if I can get even just his basic star rookies card, that would be great. So as far as what to be expecting within the box break, again, it's pretty simple. You get 12 inserts, you get 12 star rookies, meaning one per pack because there are 12 packs per box. You get one numbered base parallel, whether that be an exclusives out of 100 or a high gloss out of 10, like that Slavin. You get one guaranteed autograph card, and then you get one additional hit, whether that be a parallel, an insert, or an autograph. So that's kind of what to expect. Again, it's very simple, very straightforward. So with that, let's get busting.
Nice, good luck. And par for the course, I think you're going to end up with quite a few goalie hits. I think is like every time you break something, you always end up with a fair bet. So good luck with those hits too.
Yeah, true. And there are some good goalies in the product too. I know Logan Thompson for the Vegas Golden Knights is in it. Obviously, he's on the box. And then there's actually cards of Jake Ottinger in the product as well, since he spent some time in the AHL last season. So those are a couple of good goalies to keep an eye out for sure. So definitely wouldn't be upset about either of those guys. So let's jump on into this. I'll do my best with names. Obviously, a lot of these guys are, younger prospects that have not made their debut yet. So a lot of them might be new names that you guys haven't heard of, and obviously, a product like this is kind of just a nice change of pace. Something kind of more just geared on having fun. It's not about the huge hits. Not that there aren't any big cards in here. There definitely are. Those Matt Boldy autographs and Rossi and stuff like that. But a lot of it is just kind of enjoying the prospects and even some of the veterans that have found their way down to the AHL throughout their career as well. So let's get into pack number one here. And unlike most of our upper deck breaks, I actually will go through all the names just so you guys can hear all of them because it's kind of interesting. So first up, we've got Jack Dugan for the Henderson Silver Knights, Samuel Fagemo for the Ontario Reign, David Cotton for the Chicago Wolves, Johnny Brodzinski for the Hartford Wolfpack. Got a star rookies of Cole Koepke for the Syracuse Crunch. And our first insert is an AHL captain's card for the Rochester Americans of Michael Mersch. And we've got Adam Haluchka for the Cleveland Monsters, Cam Schilling for the Abbotsford Canucks, Max Gilden for the Charlotte Checkers, and Chris Terry for the Bridgeport Islanders. On to pack number two. Unfortunately, these are sticking like super bad too. Oh, like it's just a solid
Like a brick.
chunk. Yeah, unfortunately. First card, second pack, Liam Foudy for the Cleveland Monsters. Obviously, he's had some rookie cards in 2021 with the Blue Jackets. Ty Ronning for the Hartford Wolfpack. Mate Pekar for the Rochester Americans. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for the Rochester Americans. Obviously, he's got some rookie cards for the Sabres. We've got a star rookies for the Toronto Marlies, Pavel Gogolev. And we've got an AHL All-Stars insert for the Henderson Silver Knights, Ryan Murphy. Back to the base, we've got Alex Steeves for the Toronto Marlies, Ryan Suzuki for the Chicago Wolves, Askari Laxinen for the Rochester Americans, and Max Willman for the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. On to pack number three. These packs are really hard to open too. They do not want to open.
Strange.
Yeah. Pack number three, we've got Adam Ruzicka for the Stockton Heat, Jerry Mayhew for the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, Vinny Lettieri for the San Diego Gulls. We've got an AHL All-Rookie Team insert for the Iowa Wild, Kalen Addison. So that's a somewhat decent name to get out of the product. We've got a star rookies for the Chicago Wolves, Jack Drury. Obviously, he has some cards in extended series for the Hurricanes. Then it looks like we've got our numbered parallel here, and I don't mind that one. I'll take that. It's a Star Rookies Upper Deck Exclusives, number 84 out of 100 for the Rockford Ice Hogs, which of course is the AHL team for the Chicago Blackhawks, Mike Hardman. Obviously,
Nice. A little bit close to home for you.
yeah, yeah, definitely a guy that's played for the Blackhawks too. He's got some rookie cards and 21-22 stuff as well, so that's pretty cool. Obviously, the red foil is a nice match for the Ice Hogs slash Blackhawks colors as well, so that's a nice card that I will certainly take. Going back to base, we've got Calvin Pickard for the Grand Rapids Griffins. So there's a nice goalie card for you. Jake Lesishin for the Henderson Silver Knights. There it is for my PC for the San Diego Gulls, Brogan Rafferty. I'll gladly take that. And for the Charlotte Checkers, Alexei Heponiemi. So that was a nice pack there. A couple inserts, a parallel, and a PC base card. Still looking for the autograph, of course. Got 9 packs to go, so we are a quarter of the way in. On to pack number 4 for the Charlotte Checkers, Alexander True. For the Utica Comets, Chase DeLeo. For the Ontario Reign, Aiden Dudas. For the Abbotsford Canucks, Carson Vogt. And AHL All-Stars for the Hartford Whalers, Tarmo Ruunanen. A star rookies for the Cleveland Monsters, Tyler Angle. And back to the base cards for the Bakersfield Condors, Stuart Skinner. So there's another good goalie name there. For the Springfield Thunderbirds, Sam Anas. For the Providence Bruins, Jack Studnicka. And for the Toronto Marlies, Josh Hosang. There's a name that most people would know.
Not bad.
So we're now a third of the way through on to pack number 5. We've got for the San Diego Gulls, Brendan Gooley. For the Hershey Bears, Michael Scarbosa. For the Colorado Eagles, Kiefer Sherwood. For the Stockton Heat, Matthew Phillips. And I like that one. We've got a star rookies for the Rockford Ice Hogs, Josiah Slavin. Very nice. I was hoping that I would be lucky enough to get one, and I did. HL All-Stars for the Hartford Wolfpack, Morgan Barron. For the Manitoba Moose, Christian Reichel. For the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, Isaac Ratcliffe. And I think his autograph, for whatever reason, is like crazy short printed in this product. I don't know why, but I was looking at the groupings, and he's a Group A that's like 1 in 4,000 packs or something crazy like that. For the Springfield Thunderbirds, Will Bitton. And for the Belleville Senators, Lassie Thompson.
That's a great pack for you.
Yeah,
Not bad. Not bad with the PC hit. Always
yeah.
fun to hit that. Even if it's a base card or something, it's always fun to hit a PC player.
Yep. Now I just got to get the Colin Delia base, and I'll be 3 for 3 on the cards that I was looking for. But I'm very happy about the Slavin because you only get the 12-star rookies per box, so it was definitely not likely that we would get that one. So I'm glad that we did. So for the Iowa Wild, Damian Giroux. For the Belleville Senators, a name that a lot of people would know, Eric Brandstrom. Again for the Belleville Senators, Igor Sokolov. For the Texas Stars, Thomas Harley. Star rookies for the Milwaukee Admirals, Igor Afanasyev. AHL All-Stars for the Grand Rapids Griffins, Riley Barber. For the Bakersfield Condors, Cooper Marody. Syracuse Crunch, Gabriel Dumont. Iowa Wild, Kalen Addison. And Providence Bruins, Troy Grosnick. So not too much of a note there in that pack. On to pack number 7, I believe. So this is starting the second half of the box. Got for the Laval Rocket, Kevin Roy. For the Springfield Thunderbirds, Alexei Toropchenko. For the Bakersfield Condors, Ryan McLeod. For the Tucson Roadrunners, Ivan Prosvetov. Star rookies for the San Jose Barracuda, Scott Reedy. HL All-Stars for the Hershey Bears, Cameron Schilling. For the Charlotte Checkers, Cale Fleury. Milwaukee Admirals, Cole Schneider. San Jose Barracuda, Nicholas Malash. And for the Syracuse Crunch, Otto Sampi. The pack number 8. Still looking for the autograph. Hopefully we get a decent name. And it looks like it's in this pack here because they have kind of a blue colorway to them. So I'm going to be lame and I'm going to save it and move on to pack number 9. Typically, I don't do that, but since this is just really the one hit per box, I figured might as well build some suspense for it. So we've got for the Milwaukee Admirals, Jeremy Davies. Again for the Admirals, Frederick Allard. For the San Jose Barracuda, Scott Reedy, who apparently he has just a normal base card and a Star Rookies card because I got the Star Rookies last pack. So that's kind of interesting. feel like you don't see that too often. For the Chicago Wolves, Dominic Bach. AHL All Rookie Team for the Hershey Bears, Connor McMichael. So that's a good name there. And in AHL All Stars for the Stockton Heat, Connor Mackey. Texas Stars, Nick Camano. San Jose Barracuda, Joachim Blickfeld. Charlotte Checkers, Max McCormick. And the Utica Comets, Fabian Zetterlund. On pack number 10. All right. And it looks like we got a second numbered parallel here, so that's fun. Utica Comets, Nolan Foote. Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, Anthony Angelo. Providence Bruins, Samuel Asselan. Syracuse Crunch, Gabriel Fortier. Star rookies for the Iowa Wild, Adam Beckman. AHL captains, Cal O'Reilly. And that's a good one there. Upper Deck exclusives, numbered 18 out of 100 for the Toronto Marlies, Nick Robertson.
Hey, that's actually really nice.
Yeah, definitely
Awesome looking card too.
a strong name on the checklist for sure. So that's really great to get
Great
a
hit.
nice numbered card, Nick Robertson. For the Colorado Eagles, Shane Bowers, the Nick Robertson base card to go along with the exclusives.
Perfect.
And another guy that I mentioned earlier that's on the box as well for the Ontario Reign, Alex Turcotte. So that was a pretty good pack there. Definitely nice to get a second numbered card and to get it of a really strong name like Nick Robertson, even better. So we're on to pack 11, and I like the card that is on the back. We'll get to that later. First, for the Grand Rapids Griffins, Joe Velino. For the Rockford Ice Hogs, Nicholas Beaudin. For the Cleveland Monsters, Tyler Secura. For the Springfield Thunderbirds, Tyler Tucker. AHL All Rookie Team for the Henderson Silver Knights, Logan Thompson. So that's another good name there. Nice goalie card there. Star Rookies for the Hartford Wolfpack, Lori Pajuniemi. Not sure if that's how you say it, but that's what I'm going with. Aaron's gonna like this one. It's just a base card, but you'll like the name. Goaltender for the Iowa Wild, a guy who we have talked about on the podcast before. The Hamburglar, Andrew Hammond.
Oh, I love him. Oh man, that's awesome. Glad to see you got a card again. That's really cool. Oh, nice hit there.
And following that up with another really, really good goalie card, probably the best goalie in the product for the Texas Stars, Jake Ottinger.
Nice. Back to the Hamburger. I've always wanted to pick up, that card that he has holding the hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
Always wanted to pick that one up just for fun. So if anyone has one, let me know.
For the San Jose Barracuda, Ryan Merkley. And then the card that I was excited about, goaltender for the Rockford Ice Hogs, Colin Delia. So got the third of the three base cards that I was looking for. So I am quite content with how this box has gone. On to pack number 12, which for our purposes is the second to last pack, since we'll go back to the autograph after this. Who knows? Maybe it'll be an Andrew Hammond autograph. You never know.
I mean, I think it might come with a free hamburger.
Got for the San Diego Gulls, Jacob Perreault. There we go. For the Iowa Wild, Matt Boldy. So that's one of the best base cards you can get. For the Hershey Bears, Alexander Alexiev. For the Grand Rapids Griffins, Riley Barber. AHL All-Star for the Colorado Eagles, TJ Tynan. Star Rookies for the Charlotte Checkers, Logan Hutsko. For the Laval Rocket, Raphael Harvey Pinard. For the Abbotsford Canucks, Spencer Martin. For the Manitoba Moose, Ville Heinola. So a guy that probably a lot of you guys have heard of since he's got a lot of rookie cards with the Jets. And the final base card of the pack for the Bridgeport Islanders, Ken Appleby. So back to the autograph pack. Let's
Let's see that
see
autograph.
who we get here. Hopefully it's a good name. But given that this has been a pretty decent box, I'm not expecting anything crazy amazing, but we'll see. First up for the Laval Rocket, Xavier Ouellette. For the Manitoba Moose, David Gustafson. For the Bridgeport Islanders, Otto Koivula. Star rookies for the Manitoba Moose, Greg Mearless. AHL All-Stars for the Hershey Bears, Connor McMichael. Then we've got the autograph. I'm going to come back to it. Let's finish off the base cards first. We've got for the Henderson Silver Knights, Jonas Ronbjerg. For the Tucson Roadrunners, Hudson Fashing. For the Hartford Wolfpack, Tim Gettinger. And for the Hershey Bears, a guy who some people might confuse with Thor, Axel Janssen Fjallby. And finally, the autograph. Let's see who we have. And I'll take that one as well. For the Rockford Ice Hogs, Evan Barrett.
Nice. This box was just built for you. Perfect.
It certainly was. I'll take that. I don't have a single Evan Barrett card, so
Until now.
that's pretty cool. I'm definitely happy about that.
Not bad, not bad.
So that was, yeah, that was a really good box in my opinion. Like you said, especially for me. Got all three of the base cards I was looking for. Got the Mike Hardman exclusives, star rookies for the Ice Hogs, and got that Evan Barrett Ice Hogs autograph as well. So yeah, Upper Deck could not have picked a better box to send to me, I guess, unless it had a Slave and Auto. I guess that would have been even better, but can't be too picky when you get a lot of the cards that you're looking for and get some other stuff that fits into your collection as well. So yeah, that was definitely a fun break. As you guys saw, it's a pretty straightforward product, like I said, pretty simple, easy to follow as far as what you're going to get in each pack and each box. So, but yeah, definitely a fun break for sure. Nice variety of names, those guys that are those up and coming prospects like a Matt Boldy, as well as, some guys, like I said, those veterans that have gone down to the AHL, like an Andrew Hammond at the end of his career. So pretty cool there. Aaron, any thoughts about the box or the product from you?
Definitely a fun product for sure. It's always nice to kind of highlight, the AHL, the up and comers. Just a cool, like you said, simple product, and yeah, definitely some decent results there. So yeah, not a bad break at all.
One kind of fun thing that I always like doing is looking at the hits that you get and then looking at the checklist as like who was next to those players and seeing, oh man, did I just barely miss out on something really, really nice, or am I glad that I got what I got? So I just pulled up the checklist, and the Evan Barrett is sandwiched in between Cam Schilling and Joachim Blickfeld. So definitely happy with the Barrett there, and kind of interesting. He's actually in Group D. Group E is the most common grouping. The Group E autographs are 1 in 20 packs. Group D actually goes all the way up to 1 in 294 packs. So the Barrett is
Bad.
definitely a tougher one to get compared to a lot of the more common names. It seems like I would say probably the majority of the players are those Group E 1 in 20 autographs. So that's just a nice little added bonus there. I'm definitely happy about that. Always curious to look and see who some of the other short prints are. So like Matt Boldy, Group C, which is 1 in 635. For whatever reason, Tyler Secura is Group B, which is 1 in 3,189. Isaac Ratcliffe, like I said, Group A, 1 in 4920. That's a pretty darn tough card to find. Brendan Gooley is also Group A for whatever reason. Jack Studnicka, also Group A for whatever reason. Alex Turcotte is Group B, so 1 in 3,189. And then the star rookies autographs actually have a different ratios on those just because they are tougher pulls. So some of the best ones, obviously the Marco Rossi 1 in 3,342 packs for a Group A. And looks like the only other Group A is Alexander Holtz, of course, another really strong prospect, being at 3,342. Lucas Reichel actually looks like he's Group B, and he might be the only Group B there is that I'm seeing. He's obviously a big name prospect for the Blackhawks with the Rockford Ice Hogs. He is 1 in 3,633 packs, so that's Group B, I guess, is the toughest, even though there's only one guy in the group compared to two. So it's kind of interesting there. For those wondering, Josiah Slavin is Group E, which for the star rookies is 1 in 38. And again, most of the players are in Group E. So just kind of interesting there. And then obviously the insert autographs are very, very, very tough pulls. The captain's autographs are pretty darn tough. It looks like the Group A autograph of Gabriel Dumont is 1 in 6,930 packs. So if you pull one of those, you definitely beat the odds for sure. So yeah, anyway, it's always just kind of fun looking at checklists and see who's around where and stuff like that. Even though with the groupings, it's not necessarily just a straight comparison, but still fun nonetheless. So yeah, definitely happy with how that went. It was fun, just something a little bit different. Obviously, thank you very much to Upper Deck and Paul at Upper Deck for sending that box our way to break for you guys. With that, transitioning into the final little segment, just a reminder about our contest that we're running. In case you guys missed episode 62 and 65, we opened up boxes of 21, 22 Upper Deck Series 2 and Extended Series. And then, of course, we had today's break of Upper Deck AHL. All of those boxes compliments of Upper Deck. And as such, it's only fair to share some of those cards with our listeners. So, what we'll do for the giveaway is pick one person to receive some cards from these breaks who shares with us which card shown on episode 63 is your favorite card and why. So go ahead and respond to that on social media to enter, and best of luck. So I think that's pretty much all I have. Like I said, it was kind of just a more casual, laid back type of episode, but fun nonetheless. Aaron, is there anything else you want to add for the episode?
No, I'm good. I mean, definitely a fun box break, like you said, and some really cool pickups recently. So just kind of a nice little recap there, fun little box break, and I'm excited for Tim Hortons. So yeah, like really excited for that. So I'm sure we'll have an episode for that very soon.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. That'll probably be our next episode, honestly. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, Tim's is always an extremely fun product every single year. I know Aaron is very excited to pick up some packs and bust those on the show. So always fun to see what Tim's is like each year. And I'm sure that it'll be super fun this year, as it always is. So stay tuned for that. And I think that'll wrap it up for episode 66. Please be sure to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Center Ice Cardcast and on Twitter at Center Ice CC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Center Ice Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.